All right, hello everyone. We will talk about today's lecture 4 for AMP, and today we will talk about the muscular system and the nervous system. For academic purposes, let's start with probably the longest and a little bit more elaborate topic that is a nervous system. Okay, so for that I need fresh minds and your full attention, and please, whatever I repeat it because central nervous system. Central nervous system. I took only as 4 months, I guess, on nervous system, and I have only 2 hours or hour and a half to do it. So I'm going to apply all what I can summarize in the best way I can to make it clear and very useful for you guys. Okay. Okay. So where's my pen target? There you are. All right. So talking about the nervous system. All right, so basically, I'm going to rely partially on the bioscience. I'm going to repeat some areas that I consider that is needed to repeat it again. And the nervous system, as you can tell, is basically is 15% of all the cells, 1/5. Only 15% of all the cells in your body are going to be nerve cells. So from these 100 trillion cells that we have in your body, 15 trillion will be a nervous system. Nervous system is very, very interesting, very elaborate. And I just want to tell you a few things here. Number one, tell me, do you have your nervous system completely developed at this moment? Who can tell me?
Uh, yes.
Yes, okay. So until what time tell me when you born, Maria? Tell me when you born, Maria. When you born, your nervous system is totally developed.
Yes, I guess.
Okay. So what do you say, Samantha? Do you think it's completely developed when you born?
Yes.
Okay. So if that will be true, when the baby born, the born is going to say after delivery, the baby will say, "Doctor, good job, thumbs up." Doctor
No.
is
So no.
no, right? The baby can talk, they cannot talk.
No.
Okay, or the baby when they born they start to run all over. No, right? They don't run all over. Why is that? They cannot even sit up. Why? Because the nervous system is not completely developed. Okay, so the question is, Curly, until what time, what age the nervous system is going to be developed will be up to 26 years old.
Oh, mine's not developed then.
You're not. You're still developing.
I'm
Excellent.
22.
Excellent, excellent. So you have 4 more years to create more nerve cells. But those who, like us, that we are over 26, our nervous system will not reproduce more nerve cells. That's bad? Not really. When you have this number of nerve cells in your body, you will have this same number or similar number of nerve cells until you are 65, 75, 85. So that means that the number of nerve cells are going to reach a plateau. So a similar number of nerve cells up to 75, 65, 70 years old. Then after that, the number of nerves start to decay and start to go down, the number. So do you notice that elderly people become slower and slow? Right?
Yes.
They become faster or slower? It's slow, right? They slow down. Why? Because the nervous system is not as the number that we should have, okay, or we regularly have it in the past. But that is not the problem. The other question for this nervous system, and that's what probably we are going to complete that in the next lecture, is if you are 90 years old, can you start studying something? 95, 99, if you want, 100, okay. Can you start studying LBN, for example?
Yes.
Yes, but it'll be slow.
Yeah, and it's going to be demanding a lot of effort, but the same results. So you can study. You can, yes, you can basically start anything you want. But now I see Marielle thinking something. So how come it's true that? How come it's true that if you said that the number of nerve cells are going down, but you can start studying you can start studying when you are 90 or 100 years old, right? Kind of a discrepancy there. And the thing is this. So I will tell you ahead of time. So we cannot, and I'm going to, the process I will explain you later. But the thing is this. Here we have a nerve cell. This is the axon, and this is the terminal axon. And here we have the dendrites, dendrites, dendrites. So the number of nerve cells are going to start going down, down and down and down and down. And what happened? So it's like when you go to San Francisco. Let's go to San Francisco, okay? You go to San Francisco, we are in San Mateo. We are in San Mateo. So for San Francisco, to go to San Mateo to San Francisco, let's do it at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. that is the peak hour, right? So there's a lot of traffic there. So at 8 o'clock, it's a lot of traffic. 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's a lot of traffic. So if you go to San Mateo to San Francisco, you will take about 2 hours and a half, 2 hours, right? But what happened? You are in San Mateo, but you know another pathway. The another pathway will be, for example, this is 101. This is Highway 280. 280. So you have another way. So instead of you to know if this is packed with traffic and all that, it's taking 2 hours. This 280 highway is going to take you about an hour. It's a different pathway. But now, if this is jam 2, what about if I take El Camino Real? El Camino Real, or 82 highway, right? 82. 82 or El Camino Real. So here is going to take me like 1 hour, 15 minutes. Let's put it that way. But in either way, you're going to have a solution. So what happens if you only know Highway 101? What happens if you know 280? What happens if you know, in addition, El Camino Real? So you have a solution for that. All right, so what is happening here is that the nerves are going to be the same. So you have connections are actually pathways. Pathways where you can get the answer of your problem. Who is giving these pathways? It's not a number of cells. It's not the number of nerve cells. What is going to give you that are the dendrites. The dendrites. Dendrites. These dendrites are going to be interconnected with other cells. So you have like more options. So instead of going one way, the solution, for example, will be like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, different nerves until you get to the answer. But you're still getting the answer. And that is who is giving this pathway, because if you know only one this, you take a long time to solve the problem. But if you have another pathway, probably you can solve the problem faster. All right? And who is doing that? The dendrites. We have about, for every nerve cell, we have 10,000 dendrites. 10,000 dendrites. 10,000 dendrites. But you can even duplicate, when you regularly you are studying. You study. When you study or learn something, push something into your mind, study, these dendrites are going to really flourish like a plant, like flowers. So instead to have 10,000, now you have you're going to have 20,000. So it's these different connections who is giving you different alternatives to find the solution of the problem. So, and how you're going to get these dendrites? Studying. So how long is going to take these dendrites to be formed? How long these dendrites that you want these dendrites to be formed, how long is going to take? They are going to take minimum 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. If you study 1 day before or 2 days before or the same day, you probably pass the exam, but you will not retain because the dendrites will not have chance to develop completely. So that information will be lost. But if you study regularly, 3 days, okay, 3 times, in different times, okay, minimum, you are going to be able to create these dendrites, and these dendrites are going to stay with you. You need to maintain, think about it, do exercise your mind. So that's why elderly people, when you go to the market or something that you see trying to solve these crosswords and these always trying to put their mind working. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
And why they are doing that? Because what they are trying to do is to form more dendrites. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So what you're going to do now? You study 3 days,
For
right?
3 days.
Minimum. Okay? So if you are 60 years old, 70 years old, if you have low numbers on nerve cells, that doesn't matter. Because if you push your brain, you push your mind, you're going to be able to produce dendrites, and that patient, that person will start to learn. Look at yourself. At the beginning, you say, "Oh yeah, 4 hours. Oh yeah, yeah, 4 hours, and then I need to handle. I'm going to. You need to study, right? But it's too early to talk. But probably from bioscience, you know that you can feel the difference that you were studying before. You didn't study before. Then after that, you start to studying. Your brain, your mind start to work more dynamically, more faster, more sharp. You can collect more information. Got it? Yeah. Why is that? Because that effort that you was studying was creating new nerve cells, new dendrites. Dendrites is actually the key for this. Okay, okay.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Oh, all right. So now you apply that at home. Huh? Apply at home. Would you please give me 1 minute, please? Please. This is going to be the last few days. That's going to be like that. Sorry for. Okay, sorry for that. Sorry, I apologize. Okay, so let's continue. So we was talking about the nervous system, and please, I want you to pay attention exactly what I'm going to say because that is what you're going to use a lot in the future. And let's start with the nervous system. The nervous system, I'm going to give you a white, the screen here. And let's start. We have the nervous system. The nervous system. Nervous system. The nervous system is, you know, the organization of structure, right? So a group of organs are going to determine the system. The nervous system is going to be classified into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Tell me, why do you think the nervous system is called the central nervous system? Why is it called central nervous system? Somebody have idea? Somebody can tell me?
Because it controls everything.
That's like the central of everything, like the main.
Yes, is the center. Where is the, touch your head. What is the center of your head? Center, right? Here. Right? So, Masha, stop it. Masha. And the center is going to be all the nervous tissue that is in the center of your body. Simple or no? It's in the center of your body. That's why it's called central. In the center, Masha, in the center is going to be the cerebrum, or, I mean the brain and the spinal cord. So all this, what is in the center, is going to be the central nervous system. So we have here the brain, and we have here, we are going to have here the spinal cord. Spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system is every nerve that is coming out from the central and go to the muscles, to the upper, lower extremities, or to the internal organs. You okay with that? That is the peripheral nervous system. So we have, that's why we divide the nervous system into central and peripheral. We okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the brain. The brain, there is a lot of people that think that the brain is actually only the upper portion of the central nervous system. Look at this, for example. People think that this is the brain, and that is not the brain. That is part of the brain. The brain is more than that. The brain is going to be this portion plus this portion plus this portion. So 3 components, 1, 2, and 3. Who are those? This is the cerebrum. Cerebrum is not the same to say brain. Brain is the big umbrella. Brain is the big umbrella composed by cerebrum, by brainstem, and by cerebellum. Okay, the difference now? So cerebrum is this upper portion. Then we have the brainstem here, brainstem, and on the side we have the cerebellum. So those are 3 components of the brain. Okay, we got it? All right, so saying that, so the brain is going to divide into cerebrum, is going to be the cerebellum, and then we have what? The brainstem. Excellent, brainstem. So just to not to be dramatic or cursi, whatever. So the cerebrum, this brain is going to be a flower, like a flower. The flower itself is the cerebrum. Okay, makes flower here. This is the flower. Then the flower have a stem. Yes or no? And then we have a leaf here. Let's make a leaf. So I'm not a good drawer. So, and that is how you can remind you. Why I'm saying that? Because when you're talking about the brainstem, the brainstem is divided into the midbrain. And I don't want you to get confused between midbrain and the brainstem. Thank you. Then. I don't want you to get confused between the midbrain and the brainstem. Okay, brainstem is the whole thing. Brainstem is divided in midbrain, pons, and medulla. So brainstem is divided into midbrain, into pons, and to what? And to medulla oblongata. All right, so that is about what we need to know about the division of the brain. Okay? All right, so brain, we have three components. And the brainstem have three components. Brain have three components: cerebrum, cerebellum, brainstem. And the brainstem have three components: the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Okay, we got it?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
thank you. So, do you heard of these people saying, let's learn something by heart, right? And that is coming, you can read now, you can tell now, that is coming from the ancient Egyptians. Because probably they were thinking, when you get upset or when you are actually laughing or whenever you are stressed or anything, your heart starts to beat faster, right? So, and they were thinking that the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions actually were in the heart. So that is how the heart is related to the emotions and you know, heart is the center of emotions and feelings are not the heart. It's the brain, or no? Where is coming from the heart here? Because the heart is reacting when you have emotional or feelings, whatever, upset, sad, happy, your heart to start beat faster. And they were thinking that that's why when the center of the intelligence, thoughts, and feelings and emotions were the heart. And that was basically thought in the Egyptians' time. Okay? So, and because of that, they were thinking that the brain was the center of intelligence was the heart. So since then, they were saying you need to learn by heart. So instead to say you need to learn it by brain, right? So to memorize by brain. So that is where is coming the phrase. Okay. All right. All right. So here we have one more thing I want to go over here is about the skull. Just to review. The skull is divided into cranium and face bones. So what I'm trying to tell you, the skull is not the same to say cranium. Very common mistake. Cranium is not skull. Skull is not cranium. The skull is the big umbrella for cranium and facial bones. So cranium is part of the skull. Okay? Okay, so for this, I need to show you some few things here. First of all, this. We have the brain. Don't worry about this because the peripheral nervous system we are going to touch that on the next class. Let's talk about the brain. The brain, we have the cerebrum. Cerebral hemispheres, longitudinal fissure, lobes, diencephalon, thalamus, hypothalamus. Let's elaborate. So here we have the cerebrum. The cerebrum is just the upper portion of the central nervous system. That is one portion, the lower portion, and the lateral portion. So we have cerebellum, brainstem, and the cerebrum. We are going to talk about the cerebrum. The cerebrum is going to be composed by many lobes. All right, so we have two frontal bones, two frontal lobes. We have two parietal lobes. We have two temporal lobes. And we have two occipital lobes. So I mentioned, so you see the lobes is the cerebrum itself. The lobes are going to be in pairs. Two frontal, two parietal, two temporal, and two occipital. What I don't want you to get confused is with the bones. the bones we have here in front, the frontal bone. How many frontal bones we have? Only one frontal lobe, frontal bone. But under the one frontal bone, you will have two frontal lobes. In the occipital lobes, we have two occipital lobes, but you have outside the one occipital bone. You okay with that? And be careful with that.
Yes, I was just about to ask about. Okay.
Okay, we are excellent. Very good. All right. So now let's go another summary here, because I want time to muscles. I like muscles very much. Nervous system is amazing, but this one. Okay. We are going to have the frontal lobes. The frontal lobe function, and that is a question for the exam, is the cognitive area or cognition and motor activity. Motor area. Cognitive will be your memory, your intelligence, right? Your behavior, all the stuff are going to be commanded by the frontal lobes. Motor area is basically the locomotion. We have the locomotion. These locomotion are going to make whatever you're doing. Move your hands, stand up, walk. You want to eat, or you want to drink, you want to clean, you want to whatever. Any movement of your body is controlled by the frontal lobes. Okay? Then we have the parietal lobes. So we have two frontal lobes, two parietal lobes. And this parietal lobe is going to be the sensory area. Sensory area. The sensory area. Sensory area is going to be homework. Put your hand like this and hit your hand. Okay? So you feel pain or no? No? Hello?
Yes.
All right. So, yes. So this pain looks like it's here, but the one who localizes the pain and you are aware of the pain is the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe. It's the parietal lobe where you become aware that the pain is in that area. So that is basically the touch. The touch when somebody's touching something, when somebody has pain, that is where we will feel this. Stop it. You will see this. You will see that is going to be that sensation. Okay. All right. Now, then we have two occipital lobes. Sorry, that sound is my dog, so I cannot stop. Okay, sorry for that. Occipital lobes. Yeah, everybody can hear, right? Okay, occipital lobes are going to be basically the vision. It's going to be the vision. The vision is going to be the occipital lobes. Then we have two temporal lobes. Temporal lobes. The temporal lobes are going to be the hearing. So where is the temporal lobe? Here. Okay, the temporal lobes are going to be here. So that is where you have the ear. So that is the hearing. Hearing, vision, sensory, motor, and cognitive area. Try to memorize that now. Simple or no? Okay? Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Next. Next is going to be the cerebellum. Cerebellum, that is in Latin means a small brain. that is localized on the posterior portion of the cranium, and posterior and inferior, posterior and inferior. Huh? That is the location of the cerebellum. What is doing the cerebellum? Cerebellum is going to be the balance and coordination. Balance and coordination. Okay, balance. Balance and coordination. Okay, we got it?
Yes.
Yes.
Then we have, so, and this is the hemisphere. This is the hemispheres, or the, we're going to call the cerebrum. Cerebrum. Here we have the cerebellum, and the last that we talk is the brain stem. What is the function of the brain stem? The brain stem basically is the one who controls your vital signs. Vital signs. What are the vital signs? Vital signs. Temperature. It's okay. Just turn it off if you want. Temperature, heart rate. You have the respiratory rate, and you have blood pressure, and the blood pressure will be a vital sign. Yes or no? So who is the one who regulates that? Who is the one who controls that? That is going to be the brain stem. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now, before I go into start different that I did in the morning, but let's go to buy a pizza. You want pizza? Let's go buy pizza. Sometimes when I go into school, I buy pizza for everybody for no reason, just because of fun. Okay? All right. So let's go and buy pizza. So what is doing here the pizza with the class? All right. So when somebody has the good idea to buy a pizza, but the pizza is on the other side of the street. So you need to pass the El Camino Real. Basically, we have Signoris Pizza is the one who is close. Anyhow, so you go and try to walk to the pizza. You're thinking, what the pizza? You want pepperoni? You want pepperoni? You double cheese? So my favorite, I'll tell you, is a veggie with double top of ground meat and double cheese. No,
Got
no onions, no olives, because the olives are coming from a tin, so it's very kind of artificial. Anyhow, that is and crunchy and thin crust. Okay, so so I'm walking, and when I'm walking, I start to look, right? I start to see the street. I'm not going to walk blind. I need to see the street, right? So what you're using is the temporal lobe, yes or no? I mean the occipital lobe, the occipital vision, yes or no? Then you're talking to one of your friends and you're working, oh yeah, let's do this pizza, no onions, whatever, right? And you're using your temporal lobes at the same time. But you are persist on the idea of the pizza. So the temporal lobe and the occipital lobe are thinking about the pizza. Parietal lobe, where is going to work? Parietal lobe is, tell me, when you walk, you feel your foot stepping on the floor, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah? And it's so amazing, but it's so common that you don't pay attention to that. So yes, you have like a detector device in your foot, because you know when the floor is rough, when the smooth, slippery, whatever, right? If you don't feel the floor with your feet, you will most likely fall down because you don't have a reference or to know where you are. Make sense? Okay. So you're walking, and you're feeling your feet, you're feeling the floor. So that is parietal lobe. Yes, in this example, right? The frontal lobe is the one who is telling, oh my God, so delicious pizza. I'm going to do this. I want that. So I'm not going to share with anybody. It's just for me. I'm going to take the first piece for me. Nobody is going to see it, but I'm going to take the first more hot piece for me, right? And the motor area is what you are walking. So all these lobes, for one reason, in this case, in this situation, all of them are working simultaneously, at the same time, in real time. So what happened with the cerebellum? The cerebellum, tell me, when you walk, don't you see the people walking, balancing their arms? Yes or no? Or you walk like totally rigid, like a zombie? Hello?
The first one you said.
Yeah, the first one, right? So just
Yeah.
stand up and walk. Can you take your hand without moving, without balancing? Yes, your hands are balancing when you walk. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Everybody, excellent. More people. Okay. So you're balancing. That means your cerebellum is working there, because that movement is going to keep the balance of your body. Okay with that? But
Yes.
at the same time, you are getting closer to the pizza. Frontal lobes are working, parietal are working, occipital, temporal, and cerebellum is working simultaneously. And what about the brainstem? The brainstem is the one who is giving the respiratory rate, the blood pressure, the heart rate. And you will say, "Oh my God, I'm so excited! I'm going to have a nice pizza." Or, for example, you see in the going to buy the pizza, a car is coming to you very fast. The traffic light is in red. You cannot pass. You're going to be hit by a car. And somebody is yelling to you, "Be careful, there's a car on you." And you start to hear the sound of the car getting closer to you and the people yelling to you. And what you're going to do, you start to run to escape from the danger. And when you run, what happened? When you run, you need to have more oxygen into your muscles. So that's why the heart starts to beat faster, to pump faster, more oxygen to run. Okay with that? Brainstem. You start to breathe more because you want more oxygen to escape. Right? So in conclusion, all these part of the brain and all the part of the brain, the cerebellum, and brainstem, are going to work at the same time. Right now, they're working at this moment. Right now, just this right moment, all your cerebellum, brainstem, and cerebellum is working simultaneously. But more than that, look at this. Frontal lobe are going to communicate with parietal lobes. Frontal lobe with occipital lobe. Frontal with temporal. Frontal with cerebellum. Frontal with brainstem. Parietal with occipital. Parietal with temporal. Parietal with cerebellum. Parietal with brainstem. And then we have the cerebellum, and so on. So all the connections that you can imagine, any connection between these three structures exist at this moment in your brain. Okay, so these connections are going to allow to share information. You're listening the danger from the right side, so your left brain is sharing that information in order to help to decide what to do. All right? So from the left side information, from the right side information, all this information is going to be integrated. Think about yourself when you are listening lectures or when you are actually talking to somebody. Okay, so frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal, cerebellum, and the brain stem. Okay?
Okay.
Excellent. All right, so let's keep moving. So now, but if I tell you, look at this. I told you, for example, the right frontal lobe are going to communicate with the left occipital or with the right occipital or with the right temporal, so whatever. But what about happen? I want just to show you this. Look at this. Can you see this line here?
Yes.
That is the longitudinal fissure. I'm going to show you pictures, so don't go away. There is a picture here. Okay, there you are. We have here the longitudinal fissure. I'm going to go back and to show you the name again. This longitudinal fissure are going to divide the cerebrum in two hemispheres. Hemi or hemi, spheres. Spheres. What is a sphere? Sound, round. So it's one some hemisphere and another hemisphere. So we have two hemispheres, okay, separated by the longitudinal fissure. Where is the longitudinal fissure? As I mentioned, is in here. Here. That is the longitudinal fissure. I'm going to make it bigger for you. Okay, that is the longitudinal fissure. So very important to know, longitudinal fissure. The left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Forget about central because we don't care. Gira. Okay, we are going to do gira strong. All right. So longitudinal fissure divide the brain in two parts: the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. ¿We okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so that is about for that. Let's keep moving. For this, I would like you to, what time is it? I want you to think about, I want you to use your imagination right now. Because we are going to learn the part of the brain, especially the part of the cerebrum at this moment. Cerebrum. All right, so cerebrum is like an orange fruit. Yes, an orange. If you see here the orange, I'm going to show you here. Just a moment. Don't move your slide. There you are. This is a piece of the cerebrum. So let's suppose that I took this piece here, and I put it here. So that is what I see. You will see here that the outer layer or the outer area of the brain is called the gray matter. It's going to be the gray matter. And this, what is below, this is gray matter again. And this white, you see more clear, that is the white matter. Oh, there you are, the white matter. Okay? So this is super important, so please. Okay, so pay attention. Let's go straight. The gray matter is composed by nerve cells who does not contain myelin. So these gray matter are going to be this type of cells. Period. Those are this is the body of the nerve, the dendrites. Okay, and here we have the axon. That axon is naked. That axon do not have myelin. That axon do not have the Schwann cells. They're naked. And what is the difference with other stuff? So just follow me, please. The white matter that is under or below the gray matter is called the white matter. The white matter contains nerve cells too. But these nerve cells, at the difference of the gray matter, the nerve cells of the white matter are going to have myelin in between. Myelin. Oh my God. Sorry, why you didn't wake up? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you see me sleeping? Huh?
No.
No.
Oh my God. Sorry, I was sleeping only just half an hour yesterday. Okay, so, all right, so let's keep going. All right, so we have here the gray matter do not contain myelin. So no myelin. This is it's called the unmyelinated nerve cell. So do not contain myelin. So what is doing the gray matter? The gray matter, these are here, the cells who are here in the gray matter are cells who are the commanders. Commanders are the actually the one who give orders, the boss, the commander. These commanders are going to give orders. Okay with that? Okay, who is doing that? Commander, gray matter, no myelin, and myelinated nerve cells. Okay? Now, here we have the white matter. The white matter is below here. And the white matter is going to contain nerve cells too. But these nerve cells are going to contain the myelin. So it's going to be the myelinated nerve cells. Myelinated nerve cells. So they contain the Schwann cells. You know the Schwann cells. The Schwann cells are the ones who are here in this part of the axon. The Schwann cells contain myelin. What is myelin? A fat. What is the function of the myelin in this case? Is to accelerate the messages. So if you have a commander, you are in the army and you have a commander who gives orders, you need to give the order to a messenger who is going to transmit the message to somebody. So if you are actually the commander and you make an order, you want that order to be transmitted faster to everybody, yes or no? Or it can take 1 week, 2 weeks, or whenever you want. The faster the best, or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
faster.
Yes.
Fast.
So who is the commander? Is the gray matter. Who is the messenger? The white matter. Okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So the white matter is composed by this type of cells. So please don't forget that. Okay, perfect. So the gray matter is the commander, the one who gives orders, and the white matter are the one who transmit the orders. Okay? Now, this piece of the cerebrum you see here, we have these bulging areas. These bulging areas is going to be called gyrus. Gyrus. What is gyrus? Gyrus. In plural is gyri. Plural. You know, in Latin, plural is I, right? In I means plural in Latin. And gyrus is a singular, gyrus. And these lines that you see here, these lines in between the gyrus, or the gyra, sorry, that is going to be called the sulci. Sulcus is singular, and when you talk about sulci, is plural. Plural. It's okay with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Question. Okay, so if you got that, tell me now. I'm going to make you think a little bit here. Why do you think? I'm going to show you a brain of a frog. The brain of the frog is like this, small, and probably they have 1 or 2 of these bulging areas. So why we have so many why we don't have like a plane, and why we have these up and downs, like a cords, like a ropes. You see that? Like a spaghetti, right? In a small space, yes or no? Okay, so now, excellent. So what I want to tell you is this. Why we have these up and downs in our cerebrum? Somebody? Or because it's fashionable, somebody says, cool, let's do it. Why? Why? Because, look at this. I have this area. I want to make it in an area that is smaller because I don't have a space. See? I'm folding like a GI. See? Now, who is going to occupy more space? This that is folded up and down, or this? The first or the second? Less space will be the first one. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
So,
second would be more space.
and why we want that? Why we want that? Because we want more gray matter. That is what we don't have in what they don't have in the frogs or fishes. They have only 1 and 2. That's all they have. They don't have these up and down circumambulations, or we're going to call gyri, that are going up and down. And why we do that? Because we want to increase our amount of gray matter in our brain. Otherwise, if will be not be able to do it, our head will be like a 2 meters, 2 yards size. Okay, so probably we need to just, I don't know how to hold the head with that. Right? So, and that is how this gyra is going to be used for. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that is about that. We are going to continue with more of this part. So we have cerebral hemispheres. I want you to do something. That's what I was trying to show you now. Can you see this picture? Can you see the longitudinal feature here?
Yes.
Can you put your finger inside here? Put your finger, 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 put your finger. There's a moment that you cannot go forward because it's a structure in between. Yes or no? Right? This structure that you see here is basically similar as this on the left. Can you see here? So this is not like a line. It's coming from front to posterior, like a bridge, like a bridge, like a bridge. If you understand that, you will answer what I'm going to ask. All right. So this bridge is going to be a bridge. What is doing a bridge? A bridge is communicating. Okay, and that's how, if I told you the frontal lobe are going to interact with the occipital, parietal, all that combination, all combinations you want. What about the right and the left side? Are they going to be able to communicate? So and this is basic, this is important. What your right hemisphere is thinking or taking in mind, that they need to share information with the other side and vice versa. So because everything is working together at the same time. And the one who connect the information, so my right frontal lobe know what is doing my left frontal lobe and vice versa, are going to use this bridge. This bridge. This bridge is called, the transmit the messages. This bridge is called the corpus callosum. Now, the question I was asking you, corpus callosum is gray matter or white matter? What do you think?
White matter?
Excellent. Why you say white matter? Who said that?
Tamara.
Tamara, please. Why white matter?
Because the myelinated is supposed to help speed up the
One word with C. CO.
with the what?
Give me one word. All the one word. CO. MU. Communication.
Oh yeah, the communication. Yeah.
Right? All what you said you can summarize in one word. Communication.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But excellent. Very good. So that is how the right hemisphere with the left and left with the right are going to communicate each other. So every time you're going to buy a pizza in Señores Pizza. Okay? You got it? And they go from anterior, posterior. It's like a banana, all the way. Go from anterior to posterior, all the way. And they are going to connect right and left hemispheres. White matter. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. So we okay with that? Perfect. All right. So let's continue. What time is it, by the way?
6:55.
Okay. Leticia, can you help me at 7? Okay. Or anybody, please help me at 7. Tell me at 7, just to stop. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now I want you to imagine the orange, orange. The orange will be having the skin of the orange, yes or no? The skin, can you see the skin of the orange?
Yeah.
Can you see the pulp of the orange? The pulp of the orange will be the white matter. So don't forget that way to remember things. The skin of the orange is my cortex or gray matter. So write down cortex. I'm going to ask cortex or gray matter is the outer layer of the cerebrum, the outer area of the cerebrum. So we have the cortex, all right, so the gray matter, and we have the cortex and the gray matter. What I was going to say? Oh my God.
And the pulp is the. I think
The
that's
what?
where, the pulp of the orange. I think that's where.
Oh yeah. I was talking about orange. See, don't forget like I do. All right. So the orange, the pulp will be the white matter with the myelin, etc. Now the orange are going to have seeds, and that's all. No more orange. The skin, the pulp, and the seeds. Mostly the oranges do not have seeds. These seeds are going to be in the center of the orange. These seeds are going to be called the diencephalon. Where is the diencephalon? Let me show you here. Let me see if I have diencephalon somewhere here. This is the diencephalon. This is a coronal view of the brain. It's a coronal view of the brain. In this coronal view of the brain, you see here the diencephalons. Here we have, can you see the cortex or gray matter? Below that, we have the white matter. All this is the white matter. In the center, we have the seeds. That seeds are going to be called the diencephalon. And let's go to the diencephalon. This is the diencephalon. So do you want to know where is your diencephalon? All right, so let's do it. I want you to put your finger here in the upper arch of your eye and go all the way to the center here, all the way back to the center, horizontal. And then put your finger here on the top of your head, on the top, and then make it like a cross street. You are looking or thinking about your diencephalon. That is where is located the diencephalon. The diencephalon contains two structures, thalamus and hypothalamus. Please, diencephalon is part of the nervous system. Please, you said it's easy. Yeah, write it down, please. Because when I said diencephalon, nervous system or endocrine, and people, big question mark in front of you. No, diencephalon is nervous system. And the diencephalon is going to be subdivided in thalamus and hypothalamus. Do you hear about hypothalamus before? No? Yes, right?
Yes.
Yes. This hypothalamus is nervous tissue. All right, so this hypothalamus, I will tell you, write down this, please. Diencephalothalamus, hypothalamus, those are composed by gray matter. We okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The hypothalamus, we was talking about the homeostasis in the past. Homeostasis means keep the internal balance of your body, right? Keeping the internal balance, yes or no? And homeostasis is going to be hand by hand, with the nervous system and the endocrine system. Nervous system and endocrine system. So that is what we call the homeostasis, is to keep the internal balance of your body. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right, so you want 7 minutes, 10 minutes break or lunch break?
Lunch break.
10
Lunch,
minutes.
That's up to you guys. I don't care.
lunch break? Yeah, I need a coffee, seriously. Okay, so let's do lunch break? Or too early? Oh, no, the lunch break is okay. Yeah, lunch break.
Perfect.
7:30. 7:31.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Yes.
So much it plant is overwhelmed. If you're going to continue to water, it's going to die.
Okay, sorry. I put the computer in your best, okay? Voy a dar clase, o sea, no puedo, no, sí. Okay, so let's start. Okay. All right, so let's continue. So here we have, we was talking about the brain composed by cerebrum, the brain stem, and the cerebellum. So we already talked about the cerebral hemispheres. For the exam, please, you need to know what are the functions, the main functions of the lobes of the cerebrum. Okay? Second, you need to remember the longitudinal fissure. Longitudinal fissure is that fissure, or fissure means like opening, like an entry, like a pathway, that are going to separate the right hemisphere from the left hemisphere. We okay with that? Okay. Now, the diencephalon. Diencephalon, please put in your mind the orange skin, pulp, and the seeds. The seeds are the diencephalon. The encephalon is going to be composed by the thalamus and the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, please, the hypothalamus is going to be what we call I call this the big gossiper. Hypothalamus is the big gossiper. Why is called the hypothalamus the big gossiper? Why? Because hypothalamus knows everything that happens in your body, inside and outside your body. The hypothalamus is going to work together with the pituitary gland. Remember, hand by hand, homeostasis. Homeostasis is to keep the internal balance. And that game is coming between, that play is going to be between the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. Remember the endocrine system that we talk in bioscience. Of course, we are going to talk about that in plenty when it is the time in this course. Hypothalamus is a big gossiper. Tell me, if you are 11, 12 years old and you are going to grow, who knows that you need to grow?
The hypothalamus.
The hypothalamus, big gossiper. Hypothalamus, so it's telling the pituitary gland to say, okay, pituitary gland, we need to grow, and you need to produce the growth hormone. So the hypothalamus knows because is the sinker, is the gray matter, is actually myelinated nerve cell. And that are actually being the commander is telling you, they find out, oh, that is a problem. So it's the sinker. So, all right, so they are going to send a message to the pituitary gland to tell the pituitary gland to secrete the growth hormone. If you are lactating, you have a baby, you are lactating the baby. So who knows that you need to produce more milk? Who?
Hypothalamus.
The hypothalamus. The hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is tell, okay, so we need more milk. Okay, so I'm going to send the order to whom? To the pituitary gland.
So does the hypothalamus, do the hypothalamus send the message to the mammary glands to produce milk or no?
No. The hypothalamus is going to send the order not to the mammary gland, and thank you for that question, is going to send it to the pituitary gland. And is the pituitary gland the one who is going to make the production of prolactin that produce milk? So who is aware of the problem is the hypothalamus. So now that he's aware of the situation, they're going to send the message not to the target organ, not directly to the mammary gland. The one who is going to receive that order is the pituitary gland. And then, based on that order from the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland are going to produce the prolactin that make the target organ, prolactin, are going to produce more milk. Is that clear?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so the same thing. If you are doing more exercises, you need to produce more ATPs. More ATPs is produced by the formation of T3 and T4. And the T4 and T3 are going to be produced by the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland are going to receive orders by whom? From whom? To produce more T3 and T4 is the pituitary gland. But who was aware at the beginning that you have that need is the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is going to be aware of the problem, send an order to the pituitary gland to produce more TSH. And the pituitary gland, after they receive the order and send the TSH, the TSH, that is going to make the thyroid gland produce more T3 and T4. You okay with that? Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So, and that happens if you are going to ovulate, you are in the mid-cycle and you need to ovulate. Who is the one who knows it first? Is the hypothalamus. Then the hypothalamus is going to send order to the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is going to secrete the LH, the lutein hormone, the hormone that produces the ovulation in the ovary. Okay? So hypothalamus, you can tell, in conclusion, that happened with the ACTH, with the FSH, with the oxytocin, with the ADH, all the hormones that we mentioned in bioscience. We will talk about that later. But the concept that I want you to know is this. Diencephalon. Don't forget. Don't put away the diencephalon from the word hypothalamus. Diencephalon is the area where the hypothalamus and the thalamus are going to live. Okay, so diencephalon is equal to, say, thalamus, hypothalamus. They will have the epithalamus. We have other ones. But the most important that we need to mention the thalamus and hypothalamus. Special remarks on the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, the big gossiper. If you are cold, if you are hot, if you are hungry, if you are thirsty, if the pH of your blood is too low, too high, whatever is happening in your body and outside your body, who knows that is the hypothalamus. Is the general, the commander, the one who gives orders. Just give orders. To whom? To the pituitary gland. Okay, we got it?
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. So now, let's keep going. Okay, so let's talk about the covers of the brain. So please, I want you to realize this, or just to refresh a little bit. The lungs. The lungs are covered by a double layer membrane called the pleura, correct? The pleura, parietal, visceral layer, fluid in between, that is going to decrease the friction, right? Same thing happened with the pericardium. The pericardium is a membrane, a double layer membrane, parietal, visceral, with fluid in between around the heart. That will produce the decrease of friction. But in the central nervous system, I said central, listen to this. I said central, I didn't say peripheral. If you have the central nervous system here with the brain, the brain stem, and the spinal cord, this central nervous system, composed by the brain and the spinal cord, brain, three components: cerebellum, cerebrum, medulla, brain stem, and the other component, that is the spinal cord, are going to be covered by a membrane. This membrane is going to cover like this. Where I am. Okay. This membrane is going to cover like this. One, all over. Can you see that? All over. Then we have another layer here. Another layer. The second layer. And we have another one. 3 layers. See? They go all the way to the whole central nervous system, covering the brain and the spinal cord. These membranes are 3 layers. 3 layers, not 2. 3 layers. These 3 layers are going to be called the meninges. Meninges. Dura mater, arachnoid, and pia mater. So we are going to develop in a few moments. Right now, let's suppose you're in your room. Your room, your room, whatever, bedroom, whatever it is. And let's imagine the floor where you put your foot on the floor, that is the pia mater. Pia mater. Below your floor, below the floor is going to be the cerebrum. So here we have the pia mater, this area, and below this pia mater is going to be the central nervous system. So that is the pia mater, the inner layer, the more closer to the brain. The outer layer, let's suppose the arachnoid is going to be the ceiling of your room. I said the ceiling of your room, ceiling, right? Is going to be the ceiling of your room. And on the roof will be the dura mater. The pia mater will be the floor. Just imagine that. So what is the figure here? So first of all, you need to know the names. I'm going to ask that. Dura mater, arachnoid, and pia mater, the 3 layers. What are those names called? Together are going to be called the meninges, all together. So now, between the pia mater and the arachnoids, the pia mater is the floor, the arachnoids is the ceiling. There is a space. That is space between the arachnoid, the ceiling, and the floor, the pia mater, is going to be full of fluid. This fluid is going to be between the pia mater and the arachnoid here. Okay? This fluid that is between what? The arachnoid, the ceiling of your room, and the pia mater. This fluid is going to be called fluid. This fluid is going to be the CSF. What is the CSF? Is the cerebral spinal fluid. We produce about 600 cc, almost a bottle of wine volume. That is the cerebral spinal fluid. This cerebral spinal fluid is like you have 3 plastic bags. Go to Safeway and you have one plastic bag, put another plastic bag inside, another plastic bag inside, open, okay? And then in these 3 plastic bags, you're going to put the central nervous system. Okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what is the function of this fluid? The function of this fluid is to actually make a cushion from shock, from mechanical forces. If you fall down, or if you hit your head, whatever it is, that fluid is going to absorb that energy, mechanical force, to prevent damage to the brain. Number 1. Number 2 is going to carry nutrients. Number 3 is going to transport waste products from the nervous system. But when you hear, and that is nursing clinical, when you hear this is the so CSF is going to lead into the cerebral spinal fluid, into the intra means inside, intracranial pressure. Intracranial pressure can be very high when you have for example, a car accident, and fluid or blood start to accumulate here, accumulate, making so much tension and so much pressure that is going to compress the brain. So what we do is just to drain the spinal fluid. Or if this tap on the spine, do you see the tap on the back? They put a needle on the column, and they take this fluid. So why this fluid is going to be here? This is we are going to do between L1 and L2, the lumbar 1 and lumbar 2. 2 and 3, sorry. 2 and 3. Why? And this is going to take the fluid. This is the needle, and the needle is going to take the fluid from this area. Okay, so that is the cerebral spinal fluid. We okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now in the brain we have cavities. In the brain we have cavities. It's like cavities that it's called the ventricles. Ventricles in Latin means cavity. These ventricles are the one who produce. They are going to be running the CSF in the middle of the brain. But that CSF is going to go around the nervous system too. All right, so I'm going to go step by step. So now, the question I'm going to ask is who produced the CSF? The CSF is produced by the choroid plexus. I'm going back because it's not clear yet. So the choroid plexus. Where are the choroid plexus? The choroid plexus are going to be in these cavities, and is basically located on the ceiling of these meninges. The ceiling is hanging. You have a chandelier or a lamp hanging from the ceiling. So it's similar to what we call the choroid plexus. Don't get confused with the choroid membrane. That is one of the layers of the eye. Nothing to do with that. Choroid membrane is totally different to say choroid plexus. Choroid plexus is going to be I would say differentiated cells of the pia mater and arachnoid that produce a fluid called the CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid. Conclusion: who produced the CSF? The choroid plexus. Where are located? In the ventricles. And I'm going to show you now the ventricles. Before that, we have here the galea and the cranial bone out. And you see this like a paper, white, thick paper. You see?
Yeah.
Those are the meninges. See how they are covering the cerebrum? Okay? Okay, so now here we have we was talking about before, just to pass this, the corpus callosum. From this slide, whatever I want you to know is this. Corpus callosum. We already talked about the corpus callosum, correct? The bridge, remember?
Yes.
Yes, okay, perfect. Okay. So this is the corpus callosum. This is the bridge between the communication between the right and the left and the left and the right. Okay? All right, so let's keep going. All right, so let me go here to the ventricular system. The ventricular system is these cavities. Can you see this cavity look like a bird? This green inside is a cavity. It's like a tunnel. Here is where it's going to be produced the choroidplex, the CSF. In these portions, I'm not going to mention the lateral, medial, whatever. I could see this no. So just in this area, the ventricle is like, imagine the brain, and you have like two tunnels in the middle running in each hemisphere. So those are the ventricles cavities. And these cavities, what are going to do is to produce CSF. The CSF is coming this way. Produce. They can come in this way. They're going all the way down. They're going here. And then what happened? This is the bird. That is the lateral. This is the ventricles, the cavity where inside of these ventricles is going to be produced the CSF. So here we have another, this is the lateral ventricle, see? This is a coronal view. This is the longitudinal fissure. Here we have the corpus callosum. Can you see the corpus callosum? That is the real specimen. Yeah? We have the corpus callosum, and side by side we have the lateral ventricles, the ventricles. And this kind of structure, that is the choroid plexus, the one who produces the CSF. So if you see here, look at that. This picture is very nice. Here we have the ventricles. The ventricles go to lateral, Monroe, cerventricle, aqueous cilius. And look at this. They're going to be all the way down. And here, where is the meninges, that is going to do a shortcut or a bypass, whatever you want to call, where the CSF is going to enter into the subarachnoid space. And they are going to surround the fluid around the whole central nervous system. You okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the communication between the ventricles and the subarachnoid space. So, and what is important about that, what is important, what I just want you to know is that it is going to contain the cerebral spinal fluid, who is produced by the choroid plexus. And this CSF is going to be cushioned for mechanical forces, accidents. Nutrients are going to be the area where the waste products of the cells are going to go out, and is going to contribute to the intracranial pressure. So what happened? Look at this. And that's a question for the exam. One word. I will tell you which. If you have a blockage here, the fluid that's supposed to be following these arrows, supposed to be this way, cannot be passing because a tumor or a trauma or whatever. So what happened? The fluid starts to accumulate so much. They are going to basically start to produce pressure of the cerebrum against the bone, against the cranium. So they are going to push this way because the fluid is too tense, because there is no drainage. There is no passing here because there is an obstruction. And that is called what? That is called the hydrocephaly. That is the hydrocephaly. You okay with that? This kid is probably newborn or probably a few months. And you can see here that the head is enlarged, yes or no? Why? Because the head of the baby, I told you, the fontanelles, are those spaces where the cranial bones are not fused yet, So that's why when you have accumulation of fluid of CSF in the brain, they are going to distend by pressure, so the head becomes larger. That is very dangerous because they can produce actually a decortication. So that means destruction of the cortex of the brain. Okay? Okay? You okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so these are going to talk another time when we talk about I'm going to talk the venous return in the vascular, carotid, and jugulars, and all that. So I'm not going to ask that. So a few words that you need to remember for your medical terminology and for the exam too in this chapter. Meningitis. Meningitis is the inflammation of the meninges. Meningitis, meninges, itis, encephalitis. Encephalus means brain. Encephalus, encephalus means brain. Itis, inflammation, inflammation of the brain. Hydrocephaly or hydrocephalus, abnormal accumulation of the cerebral spinal fluid. You okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
The cranial
Can you
nerves.
go back? Sorry. Can you go back just really quick?
Just sure. Where? Here?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Done, or you want me to stay?
Yep, you're good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so the rest is coming. The cranial nerves are part of the peripheral nervous system. And we have 12 cranial nerves. I didn't touch this in the morning and will not do here because I do exactly the same. With you guys, I do a little bit more because I don't know. For some reason, I can add more at night. I don't know why, but a little bit more. And here we have the cranial nerves that we will talk in the next class. Okay? Any topic you want to tell me or anything that you want to? Oh, yes, the moment. One more thing I forgot. One more thing. We was talking about meninges and all that, but we need to talk about the functions of the brain stem. The brain stem. Okay? Cerebrum, you already know. Frontal, all the hemispheres, all the lobes with the functions. The encephalon, that is the center for the homeostasis, and the brainstem. Brainstem is the one who control your vital signs. But what is important about this is the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is the more inferior portion of the brainstem. Look at this. Here, what we have is a coronal view. This is a coronal view or plane, whatever you want to call. And here we have the cortex. Can you see the cortex here? The cortex. And here we have below that the white matter. So if you see here, those are the fibers of the nerves that are going to interconnect all the hemisphere, all the both hemispheres, and interconnect with the lobes. So what happened with these fibers? These fibers, they need to send a communication towards the brainstem. So they go this way. Look at this: brainstem, the brainstem. This is the midbrain. This is the pons, and the latest portion, the last portion, is the medulla oblongata. So what happened with the fibers? Look at this. The fibers go from one side, and at the level of the medulla oblongata, they are going to produce what we call the decussation. Decussation means a crossover. Crossover of what? Of fibers. So if you see here this fiber, at the medulla oblongata are going to happen the crossover or decussation. Either way is okay to say. So from one side, they go to the opposite side. On one side, they go to the opposite side. So what is important about this? The importance about this, if you have a stroke on the right side, the area who is going to be affected will be the left side. If you have a stroke or problem on the left hemisphere, the problem that the deficit, motor deficit, or whatever it is, are going to happen on the opposite side, in the right side of the body. We okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Why is that? Because the decussation or the crossover of fibers at the level of the medulla oblongata. Okay?
Yes.
That is So decussation is number 3, decussation. Number 2, that area, the medulla oblongata, medulla oblongata, medulla oblongata, medulla oblongata, medulla oblongata, are going to be the respiratory center. Respiratory center. The respiratory center. What does it mean, respiratory center? Respiratory center is the one who controls the reflex of breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. If you have damage to that area, you have respiratory arrest. And the number 1 is the cardiovascular center. Cardiovascular center. Cardiovascular center is the one who controls the heart rate. And that, I'm not going to peripheral resistance later, and the blood pressure. So you can see here the respiratory rate, the blood pressure, and the heart rate. So those are part of the vital signs, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so don't forget about the medulla oblongata. Open eyes, open ears with medulla oblongata. 3 main functions: cardiovascular, respiratory, and decussation. So you can call the cardiovascular respiratory center. Same. Okay? Okay, so at the end, I'm going to do a review about that. All right, so let me see. Okay. The last thing I want just to mention, just to finish this central nervous system, part one, is the limbic system. The limbic system. I'm going to draw a coronal view of the brain. It's a little bit longer. Okay? And that is a coronal view. So here in the center, the seat of the orange, we have that diencephalon. On the side, we are going to have the basal ganglia. I'm just going to mention, I'm not going to ask that. But you don't have escape in the future. So basal ganglia is the one who produces dopamine. And when you have low levels of dopamine, that can lead into Parkinson. The shakiness, shaky all the time. Because these areas that produce the dopamine is the one who gives you the tune, the very, very fine movement of your fingers. So for example, I take my coffee, nice coffee. I don't have Parkinson, but I have Parkinson. See? Okay? All right, so that is because of the basal ganglia. On the side, we have another structure that is what I want to explain, is what we call the limbic system. Limbic system. Yes. Limbic system. These limbic system are going to, this is kind of review for bioscience. We have the hippocampus. We have the amygdala. And we have the RAS. Is the reticular ascending system. So this RAS is going to make you aware. You're aware that you are alive, that you are conscious. You have consciousness. So your conscious are going to be in the RAS. When you destroy this limbic system, you lose consciousness. So those are these people who have coma for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, because they destroy the RAS area. And with the regeneration is very slow, very poor, and sometimes happens, sometimes don't. So yes, vegetative basically state. Amygdala is when you have emotions, the amygdala. Hippocampus is the long-term memory. Okay? So the limbic system, in addition to emotions, including the sexual arousal. That is where it's coming from, the limbic system. Okay? Period. That's it. Any question, please? Questions?
No.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the muscular system. Muscular system. Listen to this, huh? Listen to this. We start with the electrical impulse for a nerve cell that is going to look for receptors of the NMJ, neuromuscular junction of the muscle, with the acetylcholine. The acetylcholine, that is a neurotransmitter, is going to make the release of sodium into the cell. Then the sodium is going to go to the T-tubules and then go release calcium to attach to the troponin and release the actin and myosin, and the contraction happen. Okay? You know what? You will be able to say that exactly as I said after we finish this part. But please pay attention on this. You will be able to do it, huh? Promise. How we are going to do it, I don't know yet, but we will do it, okay? All right? All right. So let's talk about the muscular system. This is a review, so I'm not going to stop on that because I need time to explain more. So we have here the smooth muscle that is involuntary muscle, right? We have the striate muscle or voluntary muscle, or called the skeletal muscle. You need to know, I told you in the past that we need to know these three. And the cardiac muscle, okay? So for this, what I want you to always, mostly people forget about the pure smooth muscle. The smooth muscle is so important, please. The smooth muscle are going to be in the GI tract, in all the intestine. So the wall of the intestine. So tell me, what are the sounds when you are hungry? What are the sounds when in your abdomen? Where is coming from that sound? Do you ask yourself where is coming that sound? What is causing the sound? What is the cause of that sound?
Is it the muscles moving in the stomach?
Yeah, look at this. All right, so what we have here is, I'm sorry, it's going to be a little noise here. I'm going to speak louder, okay? So what I want to tell you is this, is that the smooth muscle are part of the wall of the gastrointestinal system, okay? Right? So these muscles are a smooth muscle. These smooth muscles are going to contract and relax. Contract and relax. So what is happening here is that in the GI tract we have gas. Gas is coming from the production of the bacterial reaction. Bacteria. We have a lot of bacteria, especially in the small intestines. And what happened? These gas are going to be moved by the gastrointestinal system because of the peristalsis. So when a gas, this is going to contract and the gas is passing, that is what is causing the sound in your abdomen. So it's the passing of gas. Yeah, it's passing gas inside inside yourself. So passing gas, the gas is passing. So it's contracting and the air is going to pass. And that is going to make a sound. Okay with that? So
yes.
This is important. This is so important because passing gas, you're going to use the stethoscope, you will hear that is passing gas. So if there is patients who are post-operatory, they are not having, they're having anesthesia. So they don't have peristalsis. So they can have a risk for constipation. So what you need to do is to hear with the stethoscope, and when you see that sound, you should be happy because that means that the patient is recovering that peristalsis. And who is doing this peristalsis? The smooth muscle. All right, so I'm not going to go into that because my point is you to know where is the smooth muscle. The smooth muscle in the whole GI tract, from the esophagus down to the anus, a smooth muscle wall. We have the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder. The urinary bladder is a smooth muscle. They are going to contract. When you urinate, the urinary bladder contract. Then we have another, the gallbladder. The gallbladder. The gallbladder is going to contract to release the bile. And that is what is happening with the smooth muscle of the gallbladder, the wall. Then, but it's not the only one. Who is huge and very important is the smooth muscle that you have in the arteries and veins. Arteries, the smooth muscle is in the middle of the wall of the artery, or the vessel. This smooth muscle can contract, produce vasoconstriction, or they can dilate, producing vasodilation. And that is going to change the blood pressure. And there is medications. So if you need to know that the arteries have this smooth muscle, that we are, with medication, we can vasodilate or vasoconstrict, and to control, in order to control our blood pressure. So don't forget, please, the smooth muscle in the arteries and veins. That is the one who are caused by the vasodilation and vasoconstriction. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Another thing, if you see, we have, for example, what is this? Well, I know draw very well. This is the pancreas. The pancreas. And who is this? This is the pancreatic duct. Pancreatic duct. This pancreatic duct contains the pancreatic juice. This is the pancreas. Inside the pancreatic duct, we have the pancreatic juice. This pancreatic duct, this tube in the walls is a smooth muscle. We have a smooth muscle. And why is that a smooth muscle for there? The smooth muscle is in order to actually produce some peristalsis. It's called peristalsis. That is going to help to move the pancreatic juice towards the duodenum. So pancreatic duct. Same with the ureters. The ureters. This is the kidney, and this is the ureter. The ureter are going to have this peristalsis in order to help to evacuate the urine towards the urinary bladder. You okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Another smooth muscle, example, the fallopian tube. You think the fallopian tube is like this, without moving? No, the fallopian tube is doing this, like hula hula, literally, like hula hula. And this movement of the fallopian tubes are going to attract the ovum to get inside the fallopian tube. Who is doing that? The smooth muscle. Okay? All right? Okay, so that is all what I was telling you. Okay? The majority, I'm not planning to ask whatever I didn't mention, I'm not going to ask. And when I mention something is important, and that's what I want so far. All right, so here we have this muscle. This muscle, we already talked this in previous. We have here, remember, one cell muscle, one muscle cell. Only one muscle cell is going to be called as one fiber. Fiber or muscle cell is the same. Okay with that? This fiber is this. One. It's like you have a pencil. One pencil is going to be called muscle fiber or muscle cell. A group of pencils, a group of fibers, like this, put a group of pencils in your hand, like this, like 5, 10 pencils or more. This group, the whole group is called the fascicle. It's called fascicle. So fascicle is a group of muscle fibers. And then you have fascicle here, fascicle. We have a lot of fascicles here, and all fascicles together are going to form the muscle. You okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, here we have that each fiber, my pencil and rubber band with plastic. Each pencil. That plastic that is covering the fiber is called the endomysium. Endomysium is a membrane. Endomysium is a membrane. It's not a fiber. It's the cover of the fiber. Endomysium. Each fiber have an endomysium. Now put all many fibers together, with each fiber having endomysium. This is going to be called a fascicle. But the fascicle now again is going to cover by another membrane. This membrane is called the perimysium. 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 So the membranes are surrounding each fascicle. And when you put all the fascicles together, there is another membrane that is going to cover all the fascicles simultaneously. And that is called the epimysium. 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 Endo means inside. Peri means around. Epi on the top. Now, this endomysium, perimysium, and epimysium are going to project, are going to continue the membrane. And this continuation are going to come here together, and they are going to form what we call a tendon. A tendon is attached to the bone. So what is a tendon? Tendon is equal epimysium plus perimysium plus endomysium, perimysium, and epimysium. Is that clear or no?
So
Yeah.
all three of them together forms the tendon or connects to the
Yeah.
tendon.
Exactly. From each fiber, from each fascicle, from the whole muscle, they're confluent together and they form the tendon. We okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So before that, I want just to show you, to tell you something here. This is the muscle. And remember, multinuclei, yeah? So striate muscle, voluntary skeletal muscle. But we have these fibers, correct? We call striates, striations. Yes or no? Remember that? Yes or no? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make a close-up here. These fibers are going to look like this. Oops. Okay, just to show some. So these are going to be, these lines that you see here are going to be, look at the hooks. Look at the hooks. Another hook here, at the opposite, see? Can you see that?
Yes.
So again, oh, sorry, the opposite. Okay, so that means that are going to be like this. One like this and another like that. So they are going to hook each other. Who are those guys? These guys are called the actin. This is the small one is the actin. The actin, this is the actin. And the largest one is called the myosin. Myosin. What are those myosin and actin? Those are proteins. Proteins. Okay? Can you say myosin, please?
Myosin.
Myosin. Can you see actin?
Actin.
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 Actin. Everybody, please. Actin. Okay? So what are actin and myosin? Those are proteins. We okay with that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
So now look at this. When these hooks are coming together, they are going to decrease the size of the muscle. That means the contraction of the muscle. The contraction of the muscle. We okay? We okay?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm preparing the ground for what we are going to memorize in a few moments, what I mentioned at the beginning. Now, I want just to know this, please, this one. Did I mention this before? Did I? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, perfect. All right, so look at this chart. This is so important, very important. So please, this is going to help you for many things, believe me. So this, between these two lines, that is inside the cell. Inside the cell. And this here, outside, that is going to be outside the cell. So what happened outside, what is happening inside the cell? These are going to be, for example, in the cardiac muscle. What is going to happen in the cardiac muscle? What is going to happen in the smooth muscle? What is going to happen in the striate muscle? So all the muscles. And what is happening in the nerve cell? In the nerve cell. You know, the nerve cells are going to produce electrical impulses, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Electrical impulses.
Yes.
So how the electrical impulses are going to be related to the muscle? Do you see these devices that they put you in the abdomen and they put some electricity and they start to contract? Say, do exercises without effort, right? And what happened? And you put that thing in your abdomen and your muscles start to contract automatically. Why? Because that device is going to release an electrical impulse. This electrical impulse, what is going to produce is the contraction of the muscle. So we need electrical impulse for contraction of the muscle. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So now, this portion you have here in this area, that is called the contraction. That area, what happened here, probably is difficult, but you will find very easy. Contraction of the muscle. When everything that happened here, and whatever happened after this line that I draw here is going to be the relaxation of the muscle. Relaxation of the muscle. So now, what means this line up and down? Remember, this is inside the cell. This is inside the cell. So what happened? Number one, when you start to initiate the contraction of the cardiac muscle, smooth muscle, urinary bladder, striate muscle, your biceps, triceps, nerve cells, electrical impulses, what is going to enter first, and don't forget ever, because this is so important, is the sodium. Sodium. Sodium go from outside the cell to inside the cell. And this line means that it's going to enter more and more and more sodium. So sodium starts to accumulate. There is a moment that is on the high peak, the sodium, because enter sodium, is going to enter one other electrolyte, that is the calcium. Calcium. And when they enter calcium, that is the moment where the muscle are going to complete the contraction. All right? So can you do this? Please, can you do this? Your hand then start to contract and make a fist. Do this. Here and then a fist. Complete the contraction. So what you're doing is sodium, calcium. Sodium, calcium. Sodium, calcium. The sodium start to enter, totally contraction, the calcium is already there. So you are pumping calcium into your cell when you have the contraction of the muscle. If you're okay with that?
Yes.
Calcium, Ca, contraction. That is the one who complete the contraction. Is initiated by the sodium, but is going to complete by the calcium. Then after that, they are going to produce the relaxation. That is the exit of potassium, chloride, and magnesium. We are going to talk another time about that. Okay with that? So calcium. This is so important because, for example, if I have a cardiac muscle, the heart is going to contract. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, each boom enter sodium, calcium, sodium, calcium, sodium, calcium. What happens if there is so much sodium getting into the cell, or probably too much calcium getting into the heart cell? So now you will have like this. There is too much. You're going to have like this. Boom, 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 boom. that is tachycardia. That is arrhythmia. So the treatment for arrhythmia, what about if I have a drug that is going to block partially the entry of sodium? There are not going to be too many initiations of the contraction. So instead when you do the medication blocking the channel of sodium into the cell, instead to be pum, 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 it's going to be pum, 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 normal. And the same thing I can do with the calcium. We okay with that? So that is one of the applications that we are going to learn. We okay with that? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
And the nerve cell is going to produce the electrical impulse. Electrical impulse. Electrical impulse, this is a nerve cell. Inside the nerve cell, outside the nerve cell. In order to produce this electrical impulse, you need to enter sodium. And then the electrical impulse is going to be completed when the calcium is getting inside. All right, so don't forget that. Be okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
So in order to have contraction, which one is the first who enter into the cell? Which one?
Sodium.
And then
Sodium. Calcium.
first, again,
Sodium.
second, calcium. At the beginning,
Sodium.
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 there you are. Okay? Don't forget that. Sodium and calcium first and second. Okay? All right, so we are ready. What time is it, please?
8:25.
8:25. Okay. Okay, so let's start. All right, so one more thing I want before that is I'm going to draw another cell here. The cell, I'm going to draw a striate muscle. The cell is going to be like this. The fiber is going to be like this, basically like that. Look at this, huh? Okay, and then we're going to go like this, and you have like this. So the cell membrane is going to be like up and down, if you see there. Okay, so if you go in a car here, you have a car, and then you go, boom, you go down, and then go up. Go down and go up. That is the real configuration of these fiber muscles. This is going to be called, it's a tube, right? Look like a tube, right? Look like a tube. And this tube is having the shape of the T, yes or no? So that's why these tubules are going to be called the T tubules. The T tubules. Okay? Inside the cell, the sarcoplasmatic reticulum, I'm not going to go on that. Inside the cell, we have a lot of concentration of what? Of calcium. Calcium. Here's the calcium. Here's the calcium. Okay, with that we got everything. And just remember one more thing. There's the striations here, right? Striations, right? Okay. All right, so let's start. So you have here a nerve cell. Okay, so it's like a, okay. We have a nerve cell. This is the terminal axon. Then we have here, we are going to have the what? The fiber muscle. Yes, each fiber is going to have a branch of a nerve cell. Okay? So here, in this area where is going to connect the nerve cells to the muscle, is going to be an area called like this. This area, these are an area called, can you see the shape of this? Is a protein. That shape is going to be the neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction. Or called the NMJ. Question for the exam. NMJ. Okay. So now, here we have the T-tubules. I'm going to draw the T-tubules here. 3 T-tubules. And here I'm going to draw the calcium. Somebody's drawing or something, scratching. Something, please. Calcium, this is the calcium. And here we have the striations here. Look at this. I'm going to draw only one, okay? This is the myosin, and this is the actin. Okay, so we are ready. Remember, these are called the T-tubules. Okay, we are ready. So now let's start. We are going to have the electrical impulse here. We are going to put it like this. Electrical impulse coming from the nerve cell. Electrical impulse. This electrical impulse that we are going to learn in the next class, the neurotransmitters, you are not familiar with that, probably yet from bioscience, but let's do it again then. They are going to release a substance called the acetylcholine. Acetylcholine, by short, is going to be the ACH. Okay? So here we have the electrical impulse that is going to release the acetylcholine. And the acetylcholine, what is going to produce, the acetylcholine, this is an NMJ, I'm not going to. What is doing the acetylcholine is to make enter sodium. Sodium as a number 3 step. The sodium is going to go then to the T-tubules. Number 4, to the T-tubules. 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 Then the sodium, when they go here, they reach the calcium inside. They are going to release a lot of calcium into the cytoplasm, 5 calcium, and they are going to go to the actin and myosin. The actin and the myosin, they have a protein. It's like a lock that is going to lock the actin and the myosin. That lock protein is located here. I'm going to draw it here like a yellow here. Here. It's going to be like a lock. That is called the troponin. Sounds complicated, right? Troponin. So this troponin, then what is happening, the calcium is coming, they are going to take the troponin, releasing the actin and the myosin, and the contraction will happen. Okay, so that is the first try. So now let's try the second try. So what is the first thing that happened in this process? Who can tell me, please?
Electrical impulse.
Beautiful. That's what I want. Electrical impulse. Then who is going to be released after that?
The ACH.
ACH, acetylcholine. Please, acetylcholine, nothing to do with acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA is completely different story. Acetyl-CoA is for the Krebs cycle. ¿Me quedé with that?
Yes.
This is acetylcholine. So the second is acetylcholine, correct?
Yes.
Then what happened? The acetylcholine, electric impulse, acetylcholine, what is going to happen now?
Sodium goes to
Entry of sodium. Entry of sodium, yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
And then they go where?
To the T tubules.
to the T tubules. And then what happened?
Mm.
Release calcium. Then what happened? They're going to act into the troponin. And then what it's going to do is to release, when that happens, release the actin and the myosin. And that is the contraction of the muscle. How you remember that? With giant cat. Giant cat. G is nothing. Giant cat. And let's go our giant cat. Can you see the giant cat?
Yes.
Very funny face, right?
Yeah.
I would not like that big cat, I guess. I don't know, too big. Or the girl is too small. I don't know. Okay, now let's keep going here. We have here the electrical impulse. The electrical impulse. We have the acetylcholine. We have the entry of sodium. They go to the T tubules. They are going to release calcium. Calcium is going to interact with the troponin. This yellow is the troponin. See? The calcium acting in the troponin. They release the actin and the myosin, and the contraction happens. One more time. The electrical impulse release acetylcholine that make enter sodium, and they are going to go to the T tubules to release calcium that interact with the troponin to release the actin and the myosin, and the contraction occurs. One more time. The electrical impulse is going to go to the nerves, to the muscle cell, are going to release acetylcholine that make enter sodium into the cell, go to the T tubules. They're going to release calcium that attach to the troponin, releasing the actin and the myosin, and the contraction happen. Easy or no? Now, give me an A. Give me an I. What is I? Everybody, please.
Impulse.
Impulse. Give me an A.
Acetylcholine.
Acetylcholine. Give me an N.
Sodium.
Sodium. Give me a T. T tubules. Give me a Ca.
Calcium.
Calcium. Give me another T.
Troponin.
Troponin. And that actually going to make the actin and the myosin contract. They're going to do this. I will show you here. Look at this. Here you see. This is the red. The red is the actin, and the blue is the myosin. Can you see the hooks?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the troponin is going to be attached to the calcium, releasing the actin and the myosin, and then the actin myosin will be sliding one over each other, making the muscle contraction. You okay with that? Okay, so
Yes.
everybody give me an I.
Impulse.
Give me an A.
Acetylcholine.
Give me an M.
Sodium.
Give me a T.
T tubules.
Give me a Ca.
Calcium.
Give me another T.
Troponin.
And then what happened?
Release the actin.
Actin and myosin contraction. Simple or not?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, let's play here something. Tamara, you are the first in my script. Sorry, it's the first I saw when I. Okay, tell me. Can you tell me without looking, or you want to?
I can try without looking.
Excellent.
Okay, so
Listen.
impulse. So there's the impulse, electrical
Ele-
impulse that does it, releases acetylcholine. and then there's the sodium
Enter sodium.
sodium enters
Goes through the T
got
tubule.
T. Oh yeah, it goes to the T tubules, and then there's the release of the troponin,
No,
troponin,
calcium, cat.
calcium. Oh yeah, cat. So the calcium, and then there's the troponin, and the troponin activates the myosin and actin.
Excellent. Very good. See, do you like it?
Yeah.
Right.
That's an easy way to
So,
remember. Yeah.
now, who can tell in 10 seconds? Now, who can tell in 5 seconds? Who can tell in 3 seconds? Electrical impulse, acetylcholine, sodium, T-tubule, calcium, troponin, activation of actin myosin. See, I told you, you can do that. Oh no.
Say it again.
Too fast.
Okay, it's going to be electrical impulse, acetylcholine, sodium, T-tubule, calcium, activate the actin myosin. Nice, right? Oh no, this is not nice. You don't like it? Joanna, you don't like it? You like it, Joanna?
Like it. Like it.
Okay. Mariel, you like it or no?
6 seconds. You said it in 6 seconds.
Oh, I said you was taking the time? Oh my God. Courtney, your opinion. Courtney, why you were away? I called you, you shut your camera.
Yeah, it was good. That was fast.
No, but I said okay, Courtney, you said it. You said.
Okay, electrical impulse, acetylcholine, sodium, tri- tubule,
T-tubule.
T-
T-tubule.
and then calcium activate myosin,
Troponin. Where is that? Courtney.
and then activate myosin.
Okay. Acting myosin to produce that contraction. Okay? Okay, very good. So that is a question for the exam. So let's start. Let's continue. See the electrical impulse? What is this called? Can we have a small break, 5 minutes, please? I have to take somebody here. Just a moment, please. Okay?
Yeah, no.
Okay, thank you. Hello, 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 please. I'm sorry. Okay, so here we have the giant cat, and we are going to talk about few things I want to go with you. All right, so here we have muscles. Let's go to the muscles. Please, this is for what I like you to remember, please, okay? All right, so number one, here we have the pectoralis major. The pectoralis major, okay? The pectoralis major is on the front of the chest. We have the deltoid muscle that is part of the shoulder. First of all, this picture is better. So I want you to remember facial expression. We have the orbicularis oculi. Orbicularis oculi. The orbicularis oculi is what is making your eye open and close. Orbicularis oculi. Then we have the orbicularis oris. So this is the orbicularis oculi. See here, orbicularis oculi. We have the orbicularis oris. Is in the mouth. Is the kiss muscle. Is the kiss muscle. Here we have the masseter muscle. The masseter muscle is the muscle for mastication. 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 Masseter. Then we have the buccinator. The buccinator is for the whistle. 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 Whistle muscle. Okay with that? So we have four muscles. Orbicularis oculi, orbicularis oris, the masseter, and what else? And the buccinator. The buccinator muscle. The buccinator muscles. Okay? Another thing that we have here is these muscles. Thank you. These muscles are going to be the diaphragm and the intercostal muscle. Okay? Diaphragm. The diaphragm is the muscle that is between the thorax and the abdomen. So those are the respiratory muscles. The most important muscle for the inspiration, and remember that, please. The most important muscle for inspiration is the diaphragm. The inspiration. Inspiration. Then we have here the intercostal muscle. That is the most important for expiration. Okay, I'm so sorry. I cannot. Excuse me, please, okay? Excuse me, please, okay? Okay. All right, so we was talking about muscles, right? Hello, everybody's there? Somebody, please?
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay, so here we have the diaphragm, and the diaphragm is the muscle who produces the inspiration. The most important muscle for inspiration is the diaphragm. The most important muscle for the expiration will be the intercostal ribs. Intercostal ribs. So intercostal ribs is going to be the expiration. Expiration, or called the exhalation, is the same. The diaphragm is the most important muscle for inspiration. Or for the other name is inhalation. Okay? All right, so those are the muscles for the breathing. So this is open eyes, open ears, please. Then we have here the anterior wall of the abdomen. The anterior abdomen, this is what we call the rectus abdominis. Rectus abdominis is what we call the six packs. Six packs, okay? So this is the rectus abdominis. Somebody when is pregnant or has some obesity, that the separation between these muscles from the right and the left are going to be evident. And that can produce hernias. Okay, so the six-pack rectus abdominis. Okay, so talking about the muscles of the leg, the lower extremities. What I want really you to remember is about this muscle, the gastrocnemius muscle. The gastrocnemius muscle. This gastrocnemius muscle is what we call the second heart. You will see why it's called second heart, not now, another time. It's called the second heart. The second heart. This is basically the calf. Calf like this? Yes, calf. We have one muscle here, one gastrocnemius muscle, and we have another gastrocnemius muscle. Another gastrocnemius muscle. So we have gastrocnemius muscle are composed by two components, the medial and the lateral. Okay, so my gastrocnemius muscle. These gastrocnemius muscles are going to, the endomysium, perimysium, epimysium, are going to project and form this tendon. This tendon is going to be called the Achilles tendon. Achilles tendon. Achilles tendon. They're going to go to the calcaneus. We don't care about calcaneus now, but the concept is gastrocnemius muscle forming the Achilles tendon. Okay? Okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. All right, so I'm going to go over some review here. Let's see. Okay, these muscles. On the back, listen, on the back only, you're talking about the back, we have one muscle that is the actually forming the V shape. When you go to the gym and you see these guys having a V shape back, all right? So this V-shaped back is caused by a muscle called the latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi is the largest muscle on the back. Go all the way back here too. It's the largest muscle of the back, the latissimus dorsi. We okay with that?
Yes.
But the largest muscle, the largest muscle of the body are going to be the gluteus muscle, the gluteal muscle, one gluteus, another gluteus. Those are actually the largest muscle in the whole body. You okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now I want just to talk about something else. That is probably the last one. Here we have a muscle cell, and before all these, you know, the striations, all the striations, the nuclei, we have the calcium, the T-tubules, etc. Inside we have enzymes. We have enzymes. Enzymes. I'm going to draw it like blue. Enzymes. Enzymes. This enzyme, when you destroy the cell, these enzymes are going out of the cell, and they are going to go to the blood. These enzymes, when they're present in the blood, that means that there is muscle destruction. Muscle destruction. So some part of the muscle is being destroyed. This enzyme, open eyes, open ears, is going to be called the creatine phosphatase. Okay, creatine phosphatase. So when you have an injury, for example, you fall down or you have some accident, whatever, they want to also, some medications can produce to destruction of the muscle, especially the statins, the Lipitor, atorvastatin. So those people who want to decrease the cholesterol levels, they take the Lipitor, they can produce destruction of the muscle. And we want to know if there is destruction or not, checking the enzyme in blood, the creatine phosphatase. And if you have, there are certain levels, depends laboratory to laboratory test, but laboratory to laboratory. But if you have an excess elevation of creatine phosphate, that means phosphatase. So I need to write it down better. Phosphatase. Phosphatase, okay? ASE, right, enzyme, are going to be telling you that you have considerable and important destruction of the muscle. ¿Me okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
And the last thing. Here we have the biceps. See the biceps? The biceps, when you contract the biceps, what happens? It's going to flex the arm. When you relax the muscle, the bicep, relax, you're going to extend the arm, the forearm. Contract biceps, relax biceps. Contract biceps, relax biceps. But here on the back, we are going to have another muscle that is called the triceps. Triceps. This muscle is the triceps. I'm going to contract the triceps. When I contract the triceps, they are going to extend the forearm. When I relax the triceps, they are going to flex the arm. So between the triceps and the biceps, they are doing the opposite. So when I flex my arm, contract the biceps, the triceps relax. When I extend my forearm, the triceps contract and the biceps relax. So they are actually what we call antagonism. So they are antagonistic muscles. Okay, antagonistic muscles. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, the last thing I want to go is this muscle. What time is it, please?
8:57.
Okay, with this we finish, okay? We are going to finish. I want you to remember this muscle, the sternocleidomastoid. Can you see here? The sternocleidomastoid. So why is called the sternocleidomastoid? Because can you see this is the sternum? This is the sternum. All this is sternum. So this sternum, this muscle go to the sternum. Clado. Why? Because some insertion coming in the clavicle. Clado means clavicle. So this muscle that you see here, this muscle here is the sternocleidomastoid. Why? Because they have an origin in the sternum, on the clavicle, that called clado, and they go back to the ear. That is the mastoid process. That is part of the occipital bone. And that sternocleidomastoid, can you see my sternocleidomastoid? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, this muscle, see here? That is the sternocleidomastoid. That sternocleidomastoid, we call by short SCM, sternocleidomastoid, is the one who is responsible to rotate the neck, rotation of the neck. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, girls, thank you so much. That's all for today. I'm going to do the review in 1 minute. in order to finish. Okay?
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, thank you.
Any question? How was the class today?
It was good.
The next class is going to be better. Better and better. The next class is you're going to learn a lot, I'm sure. This class was a lot of information too. But it's a mix of review, right? With new things.